Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and in this video I'm going to be listing off my top 10 favorite EPs and demos. I actually was originally intending to record this video last week, but I completely forgot about it. So, yeah, anyway. Starting off, number 10. Number 10 is the Hellhammer demo, Satanic Rites. I haven't done a proper in-depth review of this yet, but I will, eventually. I just haven't got around to it. But Hellhammer was a band that didn't stick around for far too long. They broke up, I think, around 1985-ish, like maybe early 1985. And of course, the main guy, went to go start the band Celtic Frost. But, yeah, I mean, for the very little stuff that Hellhammer put out, this is probably their most iconic. It has, like, 11 songs plus 13 if you count the intro and outro tracks, which aren't really songs, so they kind of don't count, I guess. I believe this was recorded in 83. Now, I don't know if it was released that year. It was either 83 or 84 it was released. But, yeah, they did have one other release, a demo called Apocalyptic Raids. It was Apocalyptic Raids, but I actually have that. I just don't know where I put it. And I'm too lazy to looking on my shelf because there's just so much stuff there. But anyway, enough rambling. But yeah, Satanic Rites. This demo's actually really good. It's not too it's not too. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm having a mind blank. Oh, it's not too that spectacular. It's not too spectacular, but it is impressive for then up and coming band that hadn't had much releases at that time. There's also some songs on here that were the inspirations for the stage names of multiple members of Mayhem. Of course, two of their vocalists at the time. Of course, Messiah was one of their vocalists, and got his stage name from the song Messiah. You got the song Maniac, which, of course, Maniac was also a vocalist for Mayhem at one point and got his stage name from this song. And, of course, you got the song called Euronymous, which, of course, the guitarist got his stage name from. And I'm just assuming Hellhammer, the drummer of Mayhem, got his nickname from the band Hellhammer. But yeah, very important demo. And I do really enjoy it for the most part, and it's at my number 10 spot. Number 9. Number 9 is the EP Insidious by Misery. This band, in terms of their sound, they kind of sound like a mix of, what do they sound like? I know. They sound like a mix of Dismember and Mortiscold. Put those two bands' styles of death metal together and pretty much get Misery. This EP was released in 1994, and it consists of 5 songs: Seeds of Doubt, Torn, one that I don't know what it says because I'm pretty sure it's in a different language, Innocent Torture, and Dark Inspirations. They're sort of a death doom band, kind of. There's even some really cool sort of like acoustic piano bits on one of the songs. But yeah, it's really cool, and of course, it sounds like a combination of two death metal bands I absolutely love, Dismember and, Mortiscold. Speaking of Dismember, I still need to get those albums. I don't think I have any of those. I don't think I have any of those albums from that band yet. so much to listen to. Anyway, but yeah, just a very cool EP and very well produced. Not too overly produced, but definitely they did have fairly good production budget. But yeah. All right, number 8. Number 8 is the EP "Chopped, Sliced, and Diced" by Blood Feast. This is a very sort of not, I guess, not well known thrash metal band. I haven't checked out any of the other stuff yet, just because I just haven't gotten around to it. But this, I believe, was one of their most recent releases. It consists of one original song for the EP, and then the rest of the songs are older songs that were re-recorded for this EP. Of course, you get the one song that was created for the EP, Concubine, which is my favorite song off the album. Not album, EP. Then you got Hunted Stockton Slain, which is a re-recording of an older song, as well as the other re-recorded songs, Dark Side and Chopping Block Blues. This band kind of has a sort of like a early Exodus kind of style to their music. Yeah, they kind of sound like Exodus, but then they also kind of sound like a, like, it's very hard to describe this band's style, because it's like a mix of different things. But I'd say the closest to a band's sound would probably, again, be Exodus. Although I will say even though they sound like early Exodus, their vocalist sounds a lot like Steve Souza, who I believe was their second vocalist, But yeah, it's just a really cool EP. Also, one of the weirdest things about this one is that, unlike most modern releases in terms of vinyl, this actually runs on 45 RPM rather than 33 RPM. Yeah, there's not a lot of modern releases on vinyl that are 45 RPM. I think the only other two that I know of is one of the EPs from Municipal Waste, as well as the newest Candlemass album, Door to Doom. Anyway, but yeah, it's just a really cool EP, and if you're a fan of thrash metal, this is definitely something you'll enjoy. Anyway, number 7. Number 7 is the EP Haunting the Chapel by Slayer. This one, actually, I believe, took me a while to get into at first. Like, I immediately, the first time I heard, Show No Mercy, I loved it. The first time I heard, not Haunting the Chapel, Live Undead, I loved it. For whatever reason, this took me a little bit longer to, I don't know, sort of, decide what I thought of it. But, when I eventually, sort of, like, re-listened to it at one point, this was early on when I was just starting getting Slayer. But, yeah, it took me a while to get into this release for some reason. But, yeah, I mean, you get 4 great songs. Chemical Warfare, yeah, sure, Chemical Warfare is a little overrated, but it's still a good song. Captor of Sin, one they actually played live back in the day. Haunting the Chapel, which, for whatever reason, they never played this song live, ever. Which is a shame, because I would have loved to hear a live version of this song. And of course, my favorite song on here, which I guess is like an extra song that wasn't on the original version, Aggressive Perfector, which, another song that back in the day they played live. This sort of is the bridge between old school Slayer and new Slayer. Like half of these songs sound like they would be on, like, Show No Mercy, and then half of the songs they would sound like they would be on, like, Hell Awaits or something. But yeah, just a great EP, and definitely one that does, feel like a progression of their sound. Again, it's sort of a bridge between, older Slayer and, I guess, the Slayer sound that everyone, sort of knows and loves. But yeah, very good. Alright, number 6. Number 6 is Dimensions of Horror by Gruesome. This is one of those bands that only have one good release, and then that's this. Their other stuff is just kind of generic death metal. But this is actually really interesting because, I believe for their inspirations for this particular release, they're inspired by bands like Obituary, Death, Possessed, and all those old school bands. For example, the song Dimensions of Horror sounds very similar to the song Evil Dead by Death. And then, of course, there's songs that sound like, Obituary songs that sound like from, the first Possessed album. But yeah, there's a lot of, throwbacks to older death metal bands on these songs. I'd say, my favorites on here in terms of my top 3, I'd say, Dimensions of Horror, Hellbound, and, Forces of Death. But yeah, definitely a really cool EP and a great throwback to old school death metal. But yeah, awesome. Alright. Number 5. Sorry, I lost track for a second. Number 5, I don't have an individual release of this. But number 5 is the Massacre demo. What was it called? Inhuman Condition. Like I said, I don't have the individual release. I have the version that's as bonus content on the CD version of their first album. Apparently the actual individual release is really hard to find for some reason. Even if you do, the only listings I've ever seen are on eBay, and they're all used copies. Maybe the EP was never re-released. I don't know, but yeah, I mean the EP is really the last good release from Massacre. Of course, From Beyond, and then that EP. Everything else kind of sucks. Also, the EP is actually slightly different in musical style to the album, because for the most part, this full-length album, has a lot of thrash metal-ish nature to it. There's really catchy, almost thrash metal riffs, and just the sort of the speed that a lot of these songs go feel more like thrash metal. They're death metal, but definitely has a lot of heavy thrash metal influence. Whereas the Inhuman Condition EP, they're a little more straight up death metal. They don't really have the thrash metal nature to it like the main album does. Also, they have a cover of a Venom song, Warhead, which the Venom one I don't like. I think it's way too slow. This one is I think is a slightly faster tempo. Also, I don't know. It's just a overall better version of the song. But yeah, it's a really cool EP, and unfortunately, it was the last good thing from Massacre. All right, number 4. Number 4. Number 4 is the EP "I Will Be There" by Gog Magog. This is a very underrated band. Most people sort of hate on this band just because Paul Di'Anno, but not here's the thing. For whatever reason, everybody praises the Paul Di'Anno era of Iron Maiden, or not everybody, but fans of that era, hold that in high standards, right? Which I do too. I get that, but for whatever reason, the same people hate on anything else Paul Di'Anno did, in terms of his solo career. They hate on the Di'Anno album, that self-titled album. They hate on this, they hate on, what was that? What was the other band? What was it called? I forgot. I forgot what the hell it was called. I don't even know where I put the album at the moment. But that other band he did. Oh, Battlezone. That was called. They hit on the Battlezone thing. They hit on every single thing Paul Di'Anno did besides the stuff with Maiden, which doesn't make any goddamn sense because most of it's really good. And I think this is the best thing he did. Of course, you get other, notable, people on here. Of course, Clive Burr, who, was on the first three Iron Maiden albums, the drummer. Yannick Gears, who would later go on to be Iron Maiden's extra guitarist. Yeah, I mean, sure, and I guess you could say, oh well, they're just cover songs, because they are. The three songs on here are cover songs, but they're great. They're really good. I think I think they did a great job. Pollyanna's vocals were great. Sure, you could say maybe it's not really metal. They do kind of feel like 80s pop songs at times, but they're still very good and enjoyable. Especially the title track, I Will Be There. This band didn't last too long. They only lasted about a few months, actually. This is the only release they ever put out, but it's very enjoyable. Like I said, it's just very enjoyable to listen. But yeah. Alright, number 3. Number 3 is the demo, Out from the Dark. This one, yeah, this is a re-released version. The original version had a completely different cover. I believe it was a picture of Dead, but it was like him surrounded by darkness, holding a lit candelabra in one hand. As opposed to this one where he's just sort of like, in front of a brick wall, as you can see. But yeah, this is a great demo. I think it's the best studio recording wise of the era of Dead on vocals and Mayhem. It's just really really good. I mean, you get a couple of the classic Mayhem songs on here with Dead on vocals. Funeral Fog, Freezing Moon, and Buried by Time and Dust, or from, the album, Mysterious Album Satanis, which, of course, is good by itself. But hearing Dead on vocals on some of those songs, both studio and, live, it's just really, really cool. Yeah, I mean, and then you get the Death Crush EP songs as well, Death Crush, Chainsaw Gutfuck, Necrolust, Pure Fucking Armageddon, and then you get that one miscellaneous song that they added, on the in-house recordings that would be on, their live set as well, called Carnage. But yeah, this was actually recorded the same year as the in-house recordings, but is a lot better in terms of the audio. But yeah, just a really awesome, demo. Alright, number 2. Number 2 is Death by Metal by Mantis. Of course, this is the band Chuck Schuldiner founded before he founded the band Death, which he would be most famous for. There's actually 2 demos on here, Death by Metal demo version 1, Death by Metal demo version 2. Also, there are early 1984 rehearsal tracks. Now, I'm more specifically talking about the second version of the Death by Metal demo, as well as the rehearsal tracks. Yeah, I think the first version of the demo is, well, audio wise, it's not that good. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the second demo and the rehearsal tracks that go along with it, really really good. I think. How many songs are on here? What, 5? They should have released, at the very least, they should have released an EP. I mean, there's enough songs, there's enough material. 5 songs would make a great EP. Of course, you got, Legions of Doom. There's a very, sort of, death metal-esque sort of style intro. Then it sort of, in the middle of the song, it sort of turns into a full-fledged thrash metal song. Of course, you got Power of Darkness, which, also rides on the lines of, death metal and thrash metal. Then you got the song Death by Metal, which is a full-on thrash metal song. You get, the earliest versions of the song Evil Dead that would later be on Scream Bloody Gore. That it's pretty much a thrash metal variant. Like, it doesn't sound quite the same as the version on Scream Bloody Gore. Musical style wise, it is definitely thrash metal ish. Especially the third version of the song on here. And then you get, you know, the song, the title of the band, Mantis, which is one of the best thrash metal songs of all time, in my opinion. Super fast paced, super catchy, an amazing guitar solo, just a great song. And then you get the last song on here, Rise of Satan, which also is a really good thrash metal song. But yeah, just a really great demo. And I absolutely love it. Also interesting with the lineup, you get Cam Lee on drums and vocals, and you get, you know, Rick Ross on guitar. Of course Chuck Schuldiner, you know, on guitar and vocals. But yeah, the only thing that the only thing I did I mention? No, I didn't ever. I don't think I ever mentioned it. This band did not have a bassist, so there's no really bass playing on any of these songs, which is interesting. But yeah. All right. Number one. Number one is December Moon by Morbid. This to me is the best EP ever. Um, I mean, you get some really great, oh no, all great songs on here. My Dark Subconscious, Wings of Funeral, my favorite Morbid song. From the Dark and Disgusting Simila. Oh, and this vinyl version, you get, you know, an intro instrumental called Tragic Dream. That I believe is only on the vinyl version of December Moon. I have a CD version that doesn't have that. And I have looked it up. Apparently, you know, only the vinyl version has it, and none of the CD versions has Tragic Dream on here as a track listing. I mean, as a song on the track listing, or instrumental, I should say. But yeah, Dead's vocals are amazing. Pretty much anything he did on here is way better than anything he did with Mayhem. But you know, I still like Dead's vocals in Mayhem. But I think the stuff on here is just slightly better. I think. Um, but yeah, I absolutely love it. It's one of those EPs that it's sort of a lo-fi production, but it works very well with the music. But yeah, I absolutely love it. And it's at my number one spot. Alright, so that's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.